All right, so here we are in Nuke. And now if we just go ahead and hit 1 and take a look at our read node, you can just see that here's our raw render. What we got straight out of Houdini. And you'll notice that this is just the nebula part. It doesn't have the stars. We'll bring in the stars a little bit later. But the first thing what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take this guy and copy him and paste him 2 more times. And because why we're going to do that is this first one, we're going to shuffle out the geolight. This one we're going to shuffle out the key light. And this one we're going to shuffle out the alpha. And then we're going to use all those things independently to help us grade and build this comp. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and do a shuffle. So to do that, we can just hit tab and type shuffle. Link that up, and let's go ahead and look through that shuffle. And what we're going to want to pull out is the geolight itself. And then to stay clean, let's just call this geolight, shuffle geolight. All right, and now let's do the same thing for our key. Shuffle out area light 1. Throw the view tab on that, and then now we can see the light contribution for just the area light, the key light. And so again, talking about, for this setup, we only needed to use 2 lights to achieve this. So we had our key light, our area, our geolight, and then this is just a combination. And that's all we're going to need to make this project here. Now you can use as many lights as you want, but just you're going to have to shuffle out more things. But that's why in the render globals coming out of Mantra, we did that per object light layer AOV. So this is why. All right, so we got that guy shuffled out, and then this guy we're going to shuffle out just the alpha. Cool. All right, so let's start digging in. Now, this is going to be a fairly simple setup because you don't need much. Go ahead and throw down color correct node. You can just hit C, snap that in there. And the only thing that I needed to do here really was I just added a little bit of gain. And in addition to just this little tiny bit of gain that we threw in up here, I'm also going to play with the gamma just a teeny bit in the shadows to lift it up a little bit. Then I'm going to come to the mid-tones, and I'll play with the saturation a little bit here. Not much, because you see if you push it too far you start to get these clamped out values. So I'm going to settle in right around 1.36. Then I can take the gamma up again, just a little bit. Let's say 1.18. Then hit down to gain. And now here I'm going to crank it up just a little. Let's say to 1 point. Yeah, sure. Oh, just right in there. Okay, and sure, maybe a little bit of contrast. Pull that down just to pull out a little bit of the contrast. Okay, so then if we go back, hit D, we can see what little bit of changes we've made. And what we've done essentially is we've increased the intensity of our hotspot from our geolight, and then also just brought out a little bit of intensity to the shape that our light is giving our object. So essentially just revealing what's there in a little bit of a more contrasty way. And then we can play with the highlights just a smidge, just a teeny bit, just enough to touch it. Okay, all right, so then from here, let's throw down a glow. And then now on this glow, we don't need this much, because then what that's going to do is going to start hazing things up and blowing out the rest of what we've got going on here. So let's start to pull it out, and then we'll knock back the brightness just a touch. And then let's see. Yeah, so what that's going to do is it's going to give us just a little more of a localized boost, because what we're doing is we're trying to build up this area and really make it feel like that light is scattering through the volume. So that should be enough there. We don't really need to add that much more to this glow. Yeah, let's settle in there. So all we're doing here is we're just giving us a little punch to our center of that hotspot. Okay, so now that we have our glow, let's go ahead and merge this over top. So select the two nodes, hit M, create your merge, and then now we've reintroduced our geolight back into our key light. And so if we look at that versus the raw render, you can see that we just boosted it up a little bit and added a little bit more intensity into this area here. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to thicken up sort of this area here. And the way that I did that was I threw down a God rays and then just connected it underneath this color correct node. And then from there, I took the center point and let's put it right at the center of this hotspot. And then from there, scale it up by 10. Played with the rotation just a little bit. And then also kind of knock back the color a touch. I think I wound up like around in, yeah, like 0.78 seems fine. To color around 0.2. Because I want to bring it down, really just have it sort of centering here. So I'm trying to clear out in this area. Gamma, knock it down just a touch. And then we'll want to increase the steps to get rid of this sort of like conch shell stepping. So you can set that 30 or 40, so there. Now that's super smooth. Okay. And then for that, threw down a grade node. And then with this guy, let's just multiply it down. Well, yeah, so let's gamma down. And then multiply up. We're just trying to get like sort of a localized hot center in here. Okay. And then this guy we can take and we can merge back over there. And so what you'll see here, if kill those, that it just gave us this sort of halo-y swirl right through here. All right, so now that we have that set up, one thing we're going to run into though is at this center point, as we roll through the shot, you're going to find that it moves beyond the point that we initially started. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to throw down some keys along the way, just to keep that guy in place. Okay, so let's throw him back and center to where he was. And we can set a key. Roll forward for the shot and just try to keep that hot spot in the center of that object. back. So we'll say, yes, the center is right on that hot dot. Set a key. Come forward. Try and keep it right here. Just sort of follow that guy around. And one more. Cool. So now that hotspot is going to travel. And that little bit of glow will stay with us throughout. All right. So what we're going to do next, before we incorporate this alpha, is I'm going to show you why we need the alpha. So let's throw down another read node. And here you can see the render of our star map. So if I were to merge these guys now, you'll see that the stars are heavily peeking through. It's as though our nebula is lacking a lot of density, which, you know, I don't know, maybe that might be a cool look, but that's not what we had originally intended for here. All right, so that's why we have this alpha. We wanted to steal the alpha from our original work and then merge it back in before we throw it over the background. So what we can do here is actually create another merge. And then now you can see that we have that alpha because it's cutting through and putting this back on top of the background. Okay, so if we didn't have this alpha, stars come through. With alpha, we have our density back. And again, maybe that looks cool to you. Maybe that's what you're looking for. But I was looking for something to be thick and dense through here. All right, so now that we have those merged in, we can throw down something like volume rays and hook this up here. And same thing, we can take our volume position, throw it up here. Actually, let's just go ahead and go back to the start. Throw our volume position in roughly the same spot. Okay, and then from here, what we want to do is hit add on top. That way we bring back everything below us. And you can go medium, high, somewhere in this range. But this should work out just fine. But we're going to want to do the same thing, like I said, that we had done before, is we want to take this volume position, and we're going to want to keyframe it along to try and keep it in that same general area. Okay, so we'll come in here, set a key, and roughly match it to the positioning that we had done for the God rays. So same, keeping it right in line, right on track. Looks like we need to take our God rays all the way up. But we'll just keep that going. Keeping that in the right spot. All the way along. Cool. And now let's go back to our God rays. Okay, yeah, so that's fine. So now that guy will stick with us everywhere we go. All right, so if we turn off, turn on, you can see again that we're just working towards brightening up this area, thickening up that sort of like center of the galaxy kind of a look. All right. And then closing it out, we can throw down another grade. And then from this grade, we can take the black point and kind of push it a little bit, kind of cranking things down a touch. We can multiply as well to lift it up a little. Really sort of increasing that saturation, that hot spot. Kind of crunch it down. We'll bring back in some of that concentration of color in here. Starting to look pretty cool. Okay, and then after this guy, let's throw down another color correct node. And then from here, we can gain it up just a touch. Say maybe 1.2. And then take saturation, pump it up just a touch. And let's see, let's get down into those highlights, because now that we've pushed things so far, we take this gain, kind of bump it up a little bit as well. Really kind of making this feel like the center of our universe here, getting it really hot. Increase the saturation just a little bit, because we take that, we can get a little bit of detail back in there. So you can see here, without touching this, it can like kind of clip out a little bit. But if we grade that back just a touch, we bring back a little bit of the detail that's in there. Okay. And then really that's sort of it. Let's just cache this out, give it a couple minutes to collect itself, and I'll pause and come right back. All right, so here we are. I think we wound up making something pretty cool together. I hope this was informative for you and fairly easy to follow. I mean, really, honestly, if you can follow steps from A to B, B to C, C to D, and so on and so forth, literally anybody can recreate this look. That's what's so great about this setup and this rig, is it's super simple, deceptively simple, but you can make some incredibly complex and beautiful simulations. So thank you again for watching. We hope to see you again next time, and I look forward to seeing all your renders and sims. It's going to be awesome. I want to see what you guys can make. All right, thanks again. Bye-bye.